Dadgummit.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What's going on, everybody? Ken Parent back here again with Practical Machinist, and this is the series How to Become a Practical. Nope, that's not right. This is Becoming a Practical Machinist. Today we are going to jump right into it. The last video had some comments from some people about how to land contracts, how to get customers, how to, a lot of people are afraid when they start their own shop. They're afraid of not having the work, not being able to find it, not being able to get the contacts and everything. So I'm going to talk to you guys about how I did it, because this is a full-time machine shop. I don't have a day job. I work 100% here. It's a machine shop. It just happens to be inside of my garage. So today we're going to talk about that. That's going to be the main point. I might hit on a couple other things, but that's going to be the main focus of today's video. There's a couple machining videos that you'll see throughout this, but other than that, my camera kept falling into the machine also. So yeah, I got to get a new little suction pad thingy, one of these. Not to mention this broke too. So well, part of it, I guess. So today, jump right into it. Okay, so on the comments on the video, how they would, here's another one. How did you secure your first large contract and what was it? It was, so we'll get all into that. So I'll start with my first contract, and then we'll move into how I gained my clients. So when I first got my machine, I mentioned this in previous videos, I bought it off of eBay, $19,500, because my employer at the time asked me to buy it, and it could push a lot of titanium my way to run for him. And so I did. I jumped on the opportunity, and a little bit later on that year, he bought 2 more 6 or 7 axis Tsugami Swiss machines, which are amazing, but because he did that, the need for me kind of diminished. And so what happened was I had my previous employer before that, a couple jobs before that. I had worked with a guy there. He was my neighbor. We had been friends, and then we worked together. And then he moved out of being a floor manager on the machine shop floor into sales, and he heard that I had a little lathe in my garage, and so he started reaching out to me, started pushing work my way. It was my first big job, and if you heard this in the past, it was a job 410 stainless with some buttress threads on it, a lot of interior work, so I had to open it up really large and stuff like that. And that was my first big contract, and that is the one that I scrapped most of it. In fact, I'll grab a part real quick and I will show you guys, because I still have 1 or 2 parts scrapped. Okay, so this is that job. This is 410 stainless. Dimensionally wise, it's not a hard part to run. There are some tight tolerances. I think on some parts I had plus or minus 1 thou on that O-ring groove specifically, the radius inside of it, and then on this bore right here was plus or minus 1. And so, but if you can see, it has some milled wrench slots right there for a tool to go into to grab it to spin this in. And what was difficult about this job was not all of that work. That work was easy. It was simple. It took a while because it's 410. My machine is small. It's only 7 horsepower, so I can't just rip through things. But what was difficult about it was these buttress threads on top. And if you don't know what buttress threads are, a standard normal thread, say a 3/8 16 or a 3/8 24, I think, I don't know. Standard threads like that, they're 60-degree threads. So there's no crazy leans or anything like that, angles. And they're pretty standard, pretty easy. Buttress threads are meant to be locking threads. And so they're at a 45-degree angle. And the way I have to run it, and the thread comes all the way through so you could gauge it from both sides. I'd run it over here, and the threads are pointed, if it's in the machine, it's in the machine like this. Here's my tool coming from this direction, and it cuts the threads this way, and they're leaning this way, going through inserts like nobody's business. So I had to figure that out, and the threads kept moving on me. I kept breaking them so they wouldn't finish or they'd chip, and then I wouldn't catch it. And then at the same time, I tried to do it from the other direction also, and that didn't work. It gave me the same problems. I tried leaving the material on the inside and just turning the profile and then doing the threads so that it would, there's a little bit more robust there. It's not empty in the middle, some more to absorb, and so it would chatter if maybe that was causing it. Well, that wasn't the problem. It did the same thing. And eventually I had to just talk to the company. Like, I spent like a month on these things, and I just had to tell them, I just, some reason it's not working. I don't know if it's my machine, it's my tooling, I don't know what it is. I got tooling from them, threading inserts from them to use, and it wasn't working. And so I had to be honest with them about the struggles and everything like that, and they ended up understanding. They understood. I took home all the scrap parts. They kept any good parts that I did have, and then they planned to finish out the job. I did find out later that it took them about a month to run those parts because they ran into the same problems I did, and they were using really heavy-duty Moris and really great machines, and ran into the same problems I had. So I don't know if it was me, the material, I wasn't sure, but that was my first big job, and I got that because of somebody I previously worked with, and they found out I had a machine, and they were just in the right position that they could start pushing work my way. And it ended up working out, me being honest and upfront with them, and they started pushing different work my way. These parts here behind me, they pushed those my way. These turn into just a spacer, but they're 55 thou thick walls, and you have a parallel of plus or minus 1 on those between the ends. And so you get stuff like that. They've pushed a lot of work my way. I just picked up a big Inconel job for them. Hopefully it turns into a monthly job. We're not sure yet, but that's how I got my first in, and that was through him, and I just maintained that relationship. And the way I maintain that relationship is being very upfront and honest, because quoting is not my strong point. Quoting jobs, figuring out, this is material cost, this is my shop rate, this is my 15%. I always go way too low or way too high. And one big thing I do with my customers, like with this one in particular, we'll use as an example, I come forward to them and I say, listen, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys. What do you need me to do the part for? What is your price range? You're farming out this work to me. What is your price range? And I've gotten burned on it before, not with this company, but with other companies. I've gotten burned, and they shoot me like a really low number, and I made that mistake a couple times where I took the work and then I realized, like, wow, this is not worth that work. Like, this is more difficult, tighter tolerances. Like, it should be worth more than this. And so I've lost money in those situations, but at the same time, most customers, once you develop that relationship with them, they're pretty upfront and honest with you, and they want to see you succeed because you're helping them so they succeed. And I don't work with massive companies. I work with more local companies, even some that aren't local, that are, some in Texas that I work with, and they're smaller shops that are doing work for large companies, and they get overwhelmed, or they want to take on more work, but they don't want to buy the equipment. They want to stay small, so they start pushing work my way. And so I don't know about dealing with large, massive companies like oil company around here that's huge is Schlumberger. That's a big, massive company working with like GE or anything like that. Like, I'm not sure how that works because I don't do that. I like the relationship with people, and so for me, I focus on that relationship more than I focus on where I can make the most money. And there are times that they need me to do a certain part for a cheaper price than I should be doing it for, but I know that they push a lot of work my way and they need me to do this one part because they just want to satisfy their client, and their client has this price that they need the part done for. And so I've done that as well, to where I don't make money on a job, but it gets me more work. So that's how I got that client. A couple other ways that I've ran into clients is tool salesmen. What's that? Why are you wrapped up in a blanket like that?
It's freezing cold. I didn't know you were doing a video. I'm sorry.
It's not that cold. Man, these kids grew up in Oklahoma. They don't even know what cold is. Anyways, so tool salesmen. I know a lot of shops don't like it when the tool salesmen come in because they're always trying to push tooling, the next greatest thing, things like that. But I like to build a relationship with the tool guys because they're in all the shops. They go to all these different shops and they want to help their other shops be able to get work done. And so if they know somebody that can help them out, they give them my contact information. So I've gotten jobs that way. People from previous employers, like I explained, my first big contract and one of my main customers is a job I used to have. I used to work for them. I actually got fired from that job. Shouldn't have gotten fired, but that's just a whole big thing. We're not even going to talk about that because it's not that big of a. And now they're one of my biggest customers, and it's a really good relationship. And so it all worked out. But go back to your previous employers. There's a guy that has been doing stuff for Modern Machine Shop magazine. His name's Dan, out of Ohio, and he talked about that too. He talked about, he always left his jobs on good terms, the best of his ability, and now those previous jobs have turned into most of his clientele. And so that's a great way to do that, and try to do that way. Bro, look at these kids. Look at this Practical Machinist shirt. Look at, I got another one here too. See that? Get out of here. Cool guys, previous employers, that's how I've gotten all my work. Except for one of my main customers out of Texas. He's a small shop, better CNC. If Jesse Casto, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But if you guys need any mill work done, like he's a startup as well, putting out some great work. Get a hold of him. He's a great guy. He just bought a bigger machine, so he's rolling. He's doing good. But he's one of my main customers for lathe work as well. And I can't remember how he found me. I don't know if it was LinkedIn or if it was something else. But he called me up randomly one day, said, "Can you do these parts?" and has been sending me work ever since. And so that's great. And the way I maintain my customers is always trying to exceed their expectations. So always try to do that. Always try to exceed the expectations of your customers. Don't just do the minimum work, but even if it takes a little bit more time, always try to go above and beyond, because I've had customers that look at some of the parts I've sent and they're blown away just because I put radiuses on it, or my finish for my milling on a bolt is perfect because not only did I rough it out, but then I come back and I run a super slow finish on it to make it look better and make it more smooth as glass, not as many mill marks, things like that. So always try to exceed expectations. That's how I maintain my customers. I always try to be early. This video is actually going to end up coming. Oh, hello, another kid. Big hug. Oh, love you. Okay. 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 Go up in there. I always try to be early. One of the reasons this video is a little later than it should, I'm sorry, Practical Machinist, please forgive me, was I just got swamped with work and I was trying to get parts pumped out. I got behind on one part for a customer in Texas, and they were like a couple days late on those, which is something I don't like to do. I like to always be early if I can. And so then I got a couple hot jobs that came in that like they need it turned around right now, and so it gets a little difficult, balancing that. And so that's why this video is a little late. So please don't shut me down. don't censor me or anything like that. So, but yeah, that's how I maintain my customers. That's how I get them. And it's not the way a lot of people do. I don't go out and sell myself. I have a couple friends that are in sales positions that push to work my way, and so I have 4 or 5 customers at the moment. So that makes it easier for me to keep track of, to keep things flowing and things like that. So that's the way I do things. So what do you guys want to know next? I know one guy asked about setting up the machine, electricity, things like that. How do you do all that? If that's something that's interesting to you, put it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell button or whatever the YouTube is here do nowadays. But get that going. Stay tuned. Ian's putting out great videos for Practical Machinists. They're putting out other great videos about different things all over the spectrum when it comes to machining. And this is just a small part of it. Not a great big deal, but I want to be able to help other guys start something like me. And so we got big things happening here at Parent Manufacturing. Hopefully the next time you see me, this won't be here. This was my boys' room temporarily, and we built a room over here, and so we're going to be shifting all their stuff that way, and hopefully this will open up, because we got some plans coming up in the next couple months to hopefully be able to increase our capabilities a little bit. Not too much. I don't want to hire employees. I want to keep it as small as I possibly can within my control. So hopefully increasing lathe capabilities, mill capabilities. We'll see. Got to check the budget. Got to make sure everything's running good. So you guys just, like I said, let me know what you guys want to hear. Let Practical Machinists know. They keep dropping the comments. I get on there and I'm replying to you personally. I think my wife has replied to a couple even. But my wife is amazing, by the way. If you're starting a shop and you're married with kids, your wife is going to be your biggest asset. My wife kills it, and I would not be able to be out here running this machine without her. She is amazing. Thing that you guys need to watch out for if you're going to do this. Your support system is everything, and your biggest support is going to be your spouse. For me, it's my wife, and she is amazing. When I encourage you guys, check out all the Practical Machinist stuff, because they're putting out awesome stuff, and their main goal is just to educate people and bring people together and make manufacturing, machining, welding, all those different things more known to the world, so that we can increase it here in the US and we can have people who are passionate about it. So keep it up, guys. We love you. Drop your comments. What do you want to see in the next video? And let's keep it rolling. All right. We'll check you guys later.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.